speak? How does he, react to situations? So we're explaining this, and we came to the point that for one who is not a Sthita Pragya, whose intelligence is not channeled towards pleasing Krishna, and there are so many consequences. And that brought us to verse 62. That brought us to verse 62. And there, the stages of fall down are enumerated. The stages of fall down. I tried to become host and see whether host has disabled me. Please, Alika, I'm not yet host. I want to bring out my PowerPoint. Sri Salik ji.
Continue with your introduction. I'll do that for you.
Okay. So that is where we are. There are 8 stages of fall down, and that is elaborately explained from verse 62 to 63. There are 2 verses. And the first one starts that Diyato Visayam Pumsa Sangastesu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Krodo Abhijayate. While contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. These are some of the stages. Then in the next verse, say Kroda Bhavati Samuha. Samuha is pretty beautiful. Prabhuji? That brought us to verse 60. And the stages of fall down are enumerated. Yes, so we can read it. Somebody can read the translation for us, please. I want to bring out my PowerPoint.
Just go ahead.
What I said before is coming. What I said before is what is now coming. That is where we are. So please, somebody should read it proper to verse 62 for us.
One who is not Krishna conscious. Prabhuji, can I read?
Carry on, I'm hearing you. Salik, what is going on? Hare Krishna.
Can I read?
You can read, please.
One who is not Krishna.
What is happening? what is happening? No? Please, those who know what is happening, you resolve it. I'm begging.
Please mute, please, Prabhuji, everyone.
I am not the host yet. I'm not the host yet. They are trying to make me.
Okay.
Prima.
Who is?
Is Salika
Can you hear me? Can you hear? Prima.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Chita Prima.
I can hear you.
See, pray.
Hare Krishna, I can hear you now.
Chita Prima Prabhu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Some of you calling your, some of you.
It's already late.
It's already late and we are,
yes.
We are still in the month like this.
Who is talking in between, Prabhuji?
The host.
Okay, I just start. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to the material desire while contemplating the object of senses. The senses require real engagement, and if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigod in the heavenly planet,
Hare Krishna. Prema. See Prema. Can you listen to me? Can you?
Hare Krishna.
Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna, I can hear you, but you are not
Okay.
hearing me. Oh.
I can hear you. Just try to be organized. There are so many people talking at the same time, so you are not hearing. That is why I muted everybody.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. I've given you the host. I took it back so that I can mute everybody. Everybody is talking at the same time, and it's not good for the platform. Just calm down. Let everybody calm down. Yeah, it's already late, Mataji. Please, just be patient.
who is talking in between, Prabhuji?
It's okay now. We are calm down now. Mataji was reading as directed, so other people should mute while Mataji should continue to read, please. Thank you very much, Babu. But I'm not still the host. I'm not still the host. Oh, I'm the host now. Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Service of Lord. They will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva,
Mataji, your voice is very low.
in the heavenly planet,
Mataji, you can unmute and start reading.
Okay. Should I start from beginning or I should continue?
Just continue from where you are, please.
Okay. And the only method to get out of this puzzle is material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was deep in Prabhuji, we are hearing something.
I'm hearing you. We are hearing you clearly now.
Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi, but Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to the Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above mentioned verse of Sri Yamanujacharya, a sincere devotee of the Lord, shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the sense by artificial repression, ensure ultimately to fail, for the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Therefore, the next verse. Krodha bhavati samoha, samohat smriti vibramaha, smriti brahmsad buddhina so, Buddhinasat pranasyati. From anger, delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So continue the purpose. Continue to read the purport, please.
By development of Krishna conscious, one can know that everything is used in the service of Lord. Those who are without knowledge of Krishna conscious artificially try to avoid material objects, and as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain the perfect stage of renunciation. Their so-called renunciation is called falgu, or less important. On the other hand, a person in Krishna conscious knows how to use everything in the service of Lord. Therefore, he does not become a victim of material consciousness. For example, for an impersonalist, the Lord or the absolute being impersonal cannot eat, whereas the impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables. A devotee knows that Krishna is supreme enjoyer and that he eats all that is offered to him in devotion. So after offering a good eatable to the Lord, the devotee takes the remnant called prasad. Thus, everything becomes spiritualized, and there is no danger in downfall. Danger of a downfall. A devotee takes prasadam in Krishna consciousness, whereas the non-devotee reject it as material. The impersonalist therefore cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation. And for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul, even though rising up to the point of liberation, fall down again due to his not having support in devotional service. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So you can see the danger of not controlling one's intelligence, or the danger of not focusing one's intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Actually, everything begins with the mind. Before you go into performing any activity, you first contemplate on it. You first think about it, meditate on it, before you move ahead to physically do the thing. So contemplation, dhyayataha, is very, very important. So but for one whose intelligence is purified and channeled towards pleasing Krishna, he contemplates on Krishna and activities related to pleasing Krishna. He contemplates on Sankirtan, he contemplates on making prasada, he contemplates on Guru Puja, he contemplates on Bhagavatam classes, he contemplates on distributing books, he contemplates on devotional activities. And that cleanses him, and that leads him to further progress on the path. But on the contrary, one who fails to contemplate or focus his contemplation in Krishna consciousness, he becomes distracted. So these particular two verses are describing what happens to one who fails, who fails to fix the mind in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That is it. He said, while contemplating the object of the senses, the person develops attachment to them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material. So this is it. The mind must be fixed on something. Yeah. So therefore, if we do not fix the mind on Krishna, then we get the alternative result that is described here. If the mind is fixed on something other than Krishna, this is the result: contemplation, attachment, lust, anger, complete delusion, bewilderment of memory, loss of intelligence, and fall down. This is the result. So beginning with test 64 and continuing almost until the end of chapter 2, Krishna now answers Arjuna's last question. How does he walk? How does he walk? No? The purpose of this question is, how does a man in transcendence engage his senses? This is the meaning of how does he walk, not how he walks from temple to president hall with his 2 legs. That is not what is being described here. How does he walk here means, no, how does a man in transcendence engage his senses? How does he engage his senses? Because we talked about Parandriswa and Krishna consciousness is not about negation. It's about replacing lower engagements with higher engagements. So here, the question is, how does he engage his senses? One who is in transcendence, one who is situated in transcendental consciousness, how does he engage his senses? So from text 64 to the end, almost to the end, Krishna is describing how he does that. But before that, these are the consequences of one who fails to engage his mind in transcendental activities. All his contemplations bring material attachment and lust developed. From lusty, unfulfilled lusty desire, anger arises. Then when anger arises, there is complete delusion because the mind becomes clouded. Samuha, complete delusion. No. Therefore, in Ghana, we have a name called Asamuha. Asamuha means freedom from delusion, where Muha means complete delusion. Asamuha means freedom from delusion. So we will come to that in verse 15 of chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, where it states, Krishna said, Nirmana Muha. No, Nirmana Muha. There is a verse 15:5 or so. So Asamuha means freedom from delusion. Then Smriti Vibhramaha, bewilderment of memory. When the mental space is beclouded with illusion, then the memory also becomes affected, becomes bewildered. Then loss of intelligence is a virus. Contemplating on the wrong objects is a virus, more deadly than corona. So when that virus enters you, once you start contemplating on the object of the senses, this is what happens. You develop attachment, the virus will enter into, it forms a network of actions and reactions in your consciousness, and you get misdirected until you fall on your face, flat. So we have to be careful. We have to immunize ourselves from the onset by focusing our mind in Krishna conscious activity, by contemplating on Krishna conscious activity, by engaging the stubborn mind in Krishna conscious activities. Otherwise, these 8 stages of fall down are unavoidable. So this is it. Then after this, Krishna will start to answer the last question of Arjuna. For one who is in transcendence, how does he walk? It means how does he engage his senses? How does he engage his senses? So verse 64, let's read. Ragadvesa is charan atma vasya vide atma prasadam adiga shati. One who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord and thus become free from all attachments and aversion. Attachment and aversions are 2 polarities, 2 alternate polarities, attachment and aversion. You're either attached to something or you are completely averse to it. See, either or. They are mutually exclusive. Attachment and aversion are mutually exclusive. In the presence of one, the other is not there. Attachment and aversion. And these 2 opposite polarities, if one is fluctuating in between them, is in trouble. You see, they need to be free from that cycle altogether. And the formula is given. He has to engage in prasada. Is to just be satisfied with the mercy of the Lord. This is the Prasadam verse. He It should be just interested in the mercy of the Lord. For one whose senses are controlled, he is only interested in the mercy of the Lord. He's only interested in prashadam. He doesn't do anything that is not going to give satisfaction to Krishna. He first considers Krishna's satisfaction, Krishna's pleasure before he goes into engaging in activities. So he takes prashadam. But one who does not, who is not a devotee, he does not have interest in prashadam. He's interested in bhoga. So that is it. That is it. His intelligence is polluted by desire, desire for sense gratification, desire bhoga. See, but for one who is in Krishna consciousness, is interested in the mercy of the Lord. So this verse is telling us this: that one who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord and thus become free from all attachments and aversion. These dualities, these extreme ends of dualities, attachment and aversion, we have to become free from it. And you can only become free when you attain the complete mercy of the Lord. How do you attain the complete mercy of the Lord? Is by contemplating and absorbing yourselves in thoughts and activities concerning the Lord. This is the formula. There is no other way. Okay? This is the formula. So, with a controlled mind and fixed intelligence, a man in transcendence remains disinterested in combining the senses with their objects. He become indifferent to wanting to bring the senses in contact with their objects. When the mind presents object of sense gratification to him, he doesn't run after it. Just like when you present bone to a dog, even if the dog is so well dressed in coat and tie and is inside a limousine, the dog will just jump after the bone. Okay? So you know that that is somebody whose senses are not controlled. As soon as he sees some alluring foodstuff, he just presents himself there. He becomes a customer. It's a prospect. And it's a suspect who is becoming a prospect. Now the marketer will just attract therein. So the marketer, as everybody is a suspect. But the one who goes after the thing becomes a prospect. So a devotee is sense controlled. He does not go after these objects of the senses. When they are present, he withdraws to control his mind and his intelligence. That is a devotee. He withdraws from going straight ahead. So that is this. With a controlled mind and fixed intelligence, a man in transcendence remains disinterested in combining the senses with their objects. Everything, such as great souls, everything such a great soul does is auspicious. One who does self-control, everything he does is auspicious, is subhada, and he experiences full satisfaction in that. See, in other words, one who is sense controlled, his activities become very auspicious and it derives satisfaction. The result of activities in Krishna consciousness is that one derives satisfaction. This is it. But the reverse is the case. So let's go ahead. 65. I beg, there is noise. In fact, I'm covered with noise here. On one side of the temple, there is some calming music so loudly raised that I've locked all the windows. On this other side, the temple, they are playing video, proper video, and they are raising so high. So I want to go and see if I can tell them to lower it a little bit. Because I'm being bombarded right and left. And unless I shout, I will not even hear myself. This is my situation. So give me a few seconds. Babujis and Matajis, I'm really very sorry for this distraction. The distraction is from all angles. So I have to leave the seat to go and shout to calm down some places. So please bear with me. This is the nature of doing things in the material world. The material world is full of distraction. But we have to practice equanimity. We have to practice equanimity, and that is what we are trying to do. It's very difficult. It's not easy. Yeah? It's not easy. Unnecessary noise all around. That is what we are saying. That even though these things are there to distract you, a devotee whose consciousness is fixed, it's not distracted. It focuses. It doesn't run after the allurements. And that makes him a stiradi muni. Okay, so this is how it works. When the object of the senses try to distract him, he does not run after trying to gratify them. So how does he work? How does he respond to the activities of the senses, the demand of the senses? How does it work? He withdraws his senses from the sense objects and brings them out only for specific purposes. And that's why we're talking about prashadam before, that a devotee is not interested in boga, and it's like the tortoise who withdraws his limbs within the shell when it senses danger. It withdraws and remains motionless. As soon as prashadam is offered, he hears the bell, grand, for prashadam. He gets up from wherever he's staying. The senses come out. The senses of the tortoise come out, and he starts walking towards where the bell is being rung to prashadam. So these are activities of a devotee. As soon as he hears the bell for group puja, he leaves everything and he goes for group puja. Whenever he hears the bell for Bhagavatam class, he leaves everything and he goes for Bhagavatam class. So his senses are controlled and are directed for specific engagements. They are directed towards specific engagements that will give him maximum benefit. This is how he engages his senses. So this is the process. We are being challenged even as we are talking about it. What can we do? We have to face it. Okay, so this is it. Thinking, feeling, and willing. Thinking stage is contemplation, diyato. Feeling stage is sangha, attachment. And willing stage is karma, lust, and all the related network of reactions. So we go to verse 65. Prasadam sarvadunkanam, prasade sarvadunkanam, hani asyo pajayate, prasana chetaso hiyasu, buddhi pariyavatistate. For one who is so situated in the divine consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no more. In such a happy state, one's intelligence soon becomes steady. Okay? So that is it. This is the result. This verse is one of the results of controlling the senses in Krishna consciousness. You see, you are able to control the senses and only engage them in Krishna consciousness. Then you become situated beyond the influence of the modes, and soon your intelligence becomes steady. Steady intelligence only accepts all those things that are for pleasing Krishna. No, steady intelligence only accepts those things that are for pleasing Krishna, and reject all those things that are not for pleasing Krishna. So that is it. Next verse. Verse 66. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhavayata santi, asantasya kuta sukham. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence, without which there is no possibility of peace. One who is not in transcendental consciousness, one who is not a sthira muni, one who is not a sthita pragya, one whose intelligence is not controlled, one whose intelligence is not fixed in Krishna consciousness. He can never have a controlled mind nor steady intelligence. So these are consequences of not being situated in Krishna consciousness. And if you don't have control mind and steady intelligence, there can never be peace, because you'll be running after unfulfilled desires. And this is going to bring you more agitation every now and then, more implication into struggling very hard in hard struggle for existence. And how can there be any happiness without peace? In other words, peace of mind is a stage beyond happiness. You have to be happy in order to be peaceful. You see? So if you are still within the turbulence of not happy, being happy sometimes, not happy, chapala sukha, flickering happiness, you can never have peace of mind. So unless you go beyond the stage of chapala sukha or flickering happiness, you can never be. So these are the consequences of not being steady in Krishna consciousness. Okay? So for one who is not satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon established, well established. Okay? So this is the stage that is further elaborated in the next verse. That one is not connected, who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. How can there be any peace, any happiness without peace? So that is it. That is it. This is the capsule of test 64. How does it work? It's free from all attachment and aversion. How? It controls the senses through regulative principle of freedom. What is the result of doing that? Prasadam Adigashati. It obtains the complete mercy of the Lord. It obtains the complete mercy of the Lord. What follows? Otherwise, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence soon becomes established in the self. Therefore, one who has no transcendental intelligence and no steady mind, he cannot attain peace. Okay? And therefore, no question of happiness for him. How? If one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. That means disturbance is due to want of an ultimate. We are fully convinced that devotees that Krishna is the source of everything. It's there for us. Therefore, the mind is focused. The mind has an ultimate goal to focus on, to please Krishna. That is the focus. And because of that, we have become peaceful. And therefore, as devotees, we know fully well, we are fully convinced that by pouring water to the root of a plant, the leaves and the branches are automatically nourished. The devotee is fully convinced of this. That when you water the root of a plant, the leaves and the branches are automatically nourished. Therefore, his interest is to water the root. And the process of Krishna consciousness is the process of watering fruit. All our temples centered in all centers of the world are established for this singular purpose, to teach people how to water the root. We ourselves to water the root, then encourage others to come on board to water the root. So the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is established for this purpose. So this is the mood and one of the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, to create centers all around the world so that we can teach people how to water the root to the tree of life, and that is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, this is the ultimate welfare work, and anybody engaged in it directly or indirectly, somehow or the other, it gets the benefit proportionately. So that is it, the call. It's a call for ultimate duty, a call for transcendental responsibility. This is it. So a soul connected to Krishna through Krishna consciousness is free from material attractions and aversions and is fully satisfied. He experiences no mysteries, for his intelligence being well established is free from Krishna. Therefore, is a marked devotee. Without bhakti, regardless of what one possesses or what one does, no one is satisfied. Those who are not watering the root, no matter what they do, they can never be satisfied. As we see in the example of Biasade's lamentation in the first canto of Suma by Water. Yes, Biasadeva had completed the Vedas, he had compiled the Vedas, added the Puranas, and composed the Mahabharata. Yet, because he had not emphasized Bhakti, he remained dissatisfied in mind. He reflected, I have under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have sown the import of disciplined succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Sudras, and others, friends of the tribal, can see the path of religion. I am feeling incomplete, though I myself, I am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. As he was thinking like this, Sri Narada Muni, spiritual master, appeared and immediately confirmed it. What you are thinking is right. You are despondent because you have not specifically glorified the Lord. You have not exclusively glorified. You have mixed up things, so people are getting more confused. Following the flowery language of the Vedas, you need to harmonize all these varieties in one. And that one denominator is service to Krishna, which is the root that must be water. This you must do. So this is the import. Okay? So one who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Okay? Then he said, okay, Arjuna was asking, but if somebody is able to control some of the senses, but is unable to control some, if someone is able to control few of the senses, is unable to control even one is remaining, what happens? If I'm able to avoid illicit sex, avoid gambling, avoid intoxication, and I cannot stop eating burger. I cannot stop eating in the mama food joint. I cannot stop buying prepared food on the road and eat. If I cannot stop that because of work, what happens to me? What happens if all the senses are not regulated? I regulate some, but I'm not able to regulate one or two. What will happen? Then the verse 67 answered that question. Verse 67. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidyate chadasya harati pragya vayu nabam ibambasi. Aswini Kumara, can you read for us?
As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, every one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
Read the purport also.
Purport. Unless all the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, every one of them engaging in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. As mentioned in the life of Maharaj Ambarisa, all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is a correct technique for controlling the mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's not very sweet. This is very sweet. Those who have lived in riverine area, they know that unless a boat is anchored, a boat is properly anchored on a stick or some very strong rock, the bridge can carry the boat away. Once the boat is on water, if it is not anchored with a rope to a stick, to a very strong rock or some strong wood that is being pegged. The bridge can just carry it away. So Krishna is answering Arjuna that there is danger if you do not control all the senses. That just as a boat on water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Yes, as a boat on water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Therefore, there is need for total control or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. But if you say this is very, very difficult for you to do, but then he said the example is given of Ambarish Maharaj, who was able to control, engage all his senses. The verse is there. We are going to come across it in some of the purpose, and we read it. There are 3 long slokas explaining how Ambarish Maharaj engaged all his senses. His eyes in seeing the deities, his hands in cleaning the temple, his foot in walking to the temple of the Lord, and his body in touching the body. All the senses were engaged. His nostril in smelling the tulasi, his mouth in taking prasadam and talking about the Lord. So all the senses. That's why the platform of Krishna consciousness as packaged by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada is very, very glorious. It's very, very mystical. It's a beautiful compendium, a very beautiful, capsule, a beautiful platform whereby by engaging in just one singular activity, you have engaged in all the other activities simultaneously. It's an almighty package given by His Divine Grace, like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He gave it, and he went around the whole world establishing this platform for us, so that we can all have the advantage, the opportunity to engage all our senses in these singular activities. And what are these activities? The programs in the temple. The temple and the programs in the temple. So if one in householder is becoming so distracted, he can come and spend some weekend in the temple and see how this works. Early in the morning, 4:30, is awake for Mangalati. Immediately after Mangalati, there is Tulasi Puja. Immediately after Tulasi Puja, there is Japa. Immediately after Japa, there is Kama Yoga. Immediately after Kama Yoga, there is Guru Puja. Immediately after Guru Puja, there is Bhagavatam class. Immediately after Bhagavatam class, there is Prasadam. Immediately after Prasadam, there is some preaching activities in anywhere. Then immediately you come back in the evening, you start again. You offer again by 4. Then at 6:30, another program. By the end of the day, you are engaged until just before 9. You are now free. 9 o'clock, you take rest. 4 to 3 o'clock, you wake up again. So this wonderful arrangement, the platform, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is the most glorious platform made available or established by His Divine Grace, like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, out of compassion, overflowing compassion for all fallen conditioned souls, for you and me, to connect us to start practicing this exalted process, just even without knowing. So this is the beauty of Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, these activities, can I ask some? Yeah, these activities goes in the temple, but we are householders, so we have some responsibility with our children, husband, and house. So how we'll take that? We can't attend everything since morning till 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
And
that is very nice. The Prabhupada has considered that. He has considered that, and he has made provision for that. That if one is a householder, he can make an altar in his house. It should not be an ordinary householder. It should be a householder who has an altar in the house, who can wake up his deities, who can do some program, who can offer some prasadam, who can therefore engage your family in those activities. And in the daytime, when going for his work, he now he'll be thinking of his devotional activities while doing the work. Like he's externally engaged in those work activities, but internally is engaged in devotional activities. He's thinking of how all these activities can please Krishna. Therefore, by that, at the end of the day, he adds some offering that he gives to the Lord. We are going to come to that in the next chapter. The next chapter is all about that. It's all about that because Arjun got confused. Say, you told me this, you told me that, you told me this, you told me Buddha yoga. Buddha yoga is very close to Bhakti. That means you have to have the philosophy knowledge that you are not the body, you are a spirit soul, and therefore you should act in knowledge. You should engage in activities in knowledge. And best, you can just meditate and read scriptures and try to live as a saint. But you are, instead of encouraging me to do that, you are encouraging me to do lower activities that are Dharma Sastri, that I should do according to my prescribed duty of fighting, which is going to, with gas, I'm going to kill people. People will die in my hand, and you are encouraging me to do that. Why not? You told me to do that before, and you also told me to engage in Buddha yoga, the meditational activities. So now tell me decisively what I should do. You are confusing me the more. Why? Tell me one. How do I do as a householder? So the formula is there. Srila Prabhupada has considered it. Krishna considered the householder. And in fact, householders are glorified in the next chapter. Before you get to the 13th verse, you will see that householders are glorified. Varnashram system is glorified. If you are acting in accordance with the Varna and the Ashram, and you now gather the results of those Varnashram activities and offer them as yoga to the Supreme, then you are covered. Understand? Prescribed duty alone are not enough. But when you do them and you offer them to a higher source, you offer them for the pleasure of someone higher, then that becomes yoga. Some people are offering to demigods. That is Deva yoga. It's okay, but higher than Deva yoga is Bhagavad Arpita Niskama Kama yoga. So offer this to the Supreme Lord. And that is the beginning of Bhakti. So we are going to come into that. And thank you very much for the question. It's very relevant. And this is it. We are there. We are considered. And we are part of it. So temple people are there. Householders who are also doing devotional activities, they are as good as those who are renowned living in the temple. They are as good as them. And in some cases, they are even more glorified because the senses are there, the objects of the senses are there, yet they are able to control and engage in higher activities and even offer the result of all the activities as yoga to the Supreme. In that stage, Krishna takes the karma and you take the yoga. That is the platform on this karma. That's where Krishna wants Arjuna to act on. So this is a connection to the next chapter. And thank you very much for bringing us on board. Very soon we'll just jump into the next chapter, but only very few verses are remaining. Okay? Hare Krishna. So what happens if all the senses are not regulated? Krishna says, as a boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So a mind surrendered to the urges of the senses carries away a man's sense of discrimination. Intelligence means the discrimination faculty, the rational faculty. It is carried away when one focuses on the senses and the urges of satisfy the urges of the senses. Its intelligence will thus be stolen by the unfavorable wind or the uncontrolled senses. So the senses, however, once subdued, create a favorable bridge. When they are subdued, when they are controlled, then they are then engaged in the service of the master of the senses, then they become favorable. With the same senses, you start making advancement. So that is the science that Krishna is going to teach again. So, boat on water, strong, unfavorable wind, favorable breezes, they subdue the senses, When the senses are subdued, the favorable breezes will help you in your devotional service. And when the senses are, when the strong unfavorable wind blows, it means the senses are uncontrolled, and the boat is intelligence. So please let us act for our ultimate self-interest. So that brings us to verse 68. Verse 68. Tasmadhyasya mahabhao nigrihitani savasa indriyani indriyanartedyas tasya pragya pratisthita. Therefore, Almighty arms, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. Almighty arms, say, therefore, Almighty arms, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. Okay? As enemies are curbed by superior force, similarly, the senses can be curbed not by any human in the world, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona-fide spiritual master, is called sadhaka, or a suitable candidate for liberation. So all those of you who have understood this and have therefore moved ahead to take initiation from a bona-fide spiritual master, because we need the guidance. We need somebody to help us on the path back to God. Once you are taking the guide like that, you are a suitable candidate for sadhaka. You are a suitable candidate for liberation. So, Madhusneha Prabhu, you are a suitable candidate for liberation. Raganunga Prabhu, you are a suitable candidate for liberation. And Aswini Kumara Prabhu, you are a suitable candidate for liberation. And Savamai Gopi, you are a suitable candidate for liberation. And all those that have taken initiation, you are suitable candidate for liberation. And for those of you who have not taken initiation, please think of it. You should quickly, after this Bhakti Sastri course, we are going to arrange for ISKCON disciple course also, so that those who have not taken initiation can also take initiation and get formally connected to the Parampara by having a live guide. Somebody will guide them and help them anytime they have trouble with any problem. Just as Arjuna is having trouble with his mind, he's asking Krishna, who is acting as a spiritual master. You have somebody to ask for direction, somebody to help clarify your doubts and help you move ahead. So we are on track. We are on track. 69. Ya Nisa Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisa Pasyato Muni. What is nice for all beings is time of awakening for the self-control. And the time for awakening for all beings is nice for the introspective sage. So here, there are two classes of intelligent men, two kinds of intelligent men. One of them is called Atma Pravana. Okay, let us see. There are two classes of intelligent men purport. One is intelligent in material activities for self gratification. You know that one, those who are expert in making money, very expert in telling lies when necessary, very expert in manipulating whatever they come across in order to get what they want. That is one type of intelligence. And the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities of the introspective sage or thoughtful man are nights for persons materially absorbed. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such a night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective stage remains alert in the night of the materialistic man. The sage feels transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in materialistic activities, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distress in the sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reaction. So this is how a man who is in Krishna consciousness works. He's an introspective sage. When the materially intelligent is only absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and perfectly doing those activities, planning accordingly, the Sita Pragya, the introspective sage, here, the one who is in Krishna consciousness is not interested. That is why when those people absorb the meat eating, material civilization means meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. This is material intelligence. One who is able to perfectly do this is considered materially very intelligent. If you are very expert in making arrangement for sex, oh, you are the best of men. That's why the best hotels and guest houses are being used by these men. They are so expert in making money that they can pay for the most sophisticated places, and once they carry a woman to those places, finish. The woman will not say anything again because they are taking her to high level of sex education. You will buy expensive food. One plate of food will be like 5 million. You will buy it, or 1 million, you will buy it, give it to her, and she will eat. One bottle of wine may cost 1 million. We buy it, and she will drink it and be very happy. And when they give her happiness on the sensual platform, the end of it is sex. And after that, it becomes morose. A devotee, an introspective sage, a Sthita Pragya or a Sthita Dimuni is not interested in those activities. He remains completely indifferent. And he pity for those who are absorbed in that. He's seeing their level of ignorance and he's thinking of how he can help them one day, somehow or the other. People like that, unless they have a crash, unless they have a head-on collision with the problems of material nature, with perplexities, they don't think of God. To them, there's no need for God because they can do whatever they like. They can buy anything that money can buy. So what is the need for God? It's only those who cannot afford their way of living that go to surrender to somebody that they are begging to God to come into their life, to give them protection, to give them prosperity. They are already prosperous, so what do they need from God again? So until when the death come to stand in front of them face to face, so many things happen to them. Sometimes the girls they carry, they poison their food for them. The girls they carry will poison their food for them or poison their drink while they are fast asleep. They take all their money and they go. In the end, they feel so foolish that they cannot tell anybody also, unless they are close friends who are in the same clique, who are in the same network of foolish people. They will tell them, say, oh guys, see what happened to me. The girl I carried, she shined my eyes. So he collected all my money. She pushed out in my drink. I was fast asleep. Before I woke up, I couldn't locate her. She was gone. And all my money was gone also. And sometimes those people, they also use the girls. After using them, they use them for rituals. And those things happen. If you are after selling gratification, anything you meet in the end, you should take it. And to be so foolish to talk about it to the person of the book, so you keep it as a secret. Then you'll be dying silently. So by the same extension, gambling, intoxication, if some people tell you how much money they lose in gambling, you will not believe it. And they don't tell anybody. But to them, it's part of the game. Gambling, intoxication, meat eating, fish and egg. Many diseases that people have in the material world, most of them are related to eating of flesh and all that. And they are good at eating flesh in the most sophisticated places, because to them that is epitome of civilization. How much you can eat chicken in style. This chicken is killed in style with machine. The skin is peeled off in style with machine. It is roasted in style, and it is displayed in style in a junction where everybody can see it, and it will be rolling, tantalizing their taste, inviting them, come, you stupid Senga, come and eat. Come now. Then they get at the they buy their card, go and buy, and they eat. And so many things happen. They eat all kinds of diseases like that. So the introspective sage is not interested in those activities. So while these people are absorbed in the night and dream of sense gratification like this, is absorbed in thought of how to control the senses more, studying the scripture more, how to advance in the spiritual life, how to increase its ranks, how to increase its devotional service. That's what it's thinking. So they have different results. Okay? One of them is called Atma Pravana. Atma Pravana. That means is inclined towards self-realization. That is the devotee. And the other person is called Visaya Pravana. All his inclination is towards self-gratification. And the Atma Pravana is interested in Atma Tattva, interested in inquiring about the self and developing spiritual life. But the other one is called Anatma Tattva. Anatma Tattva. That's why in our initiation process, when we give names to people, our gurus will give names. They give names like Atma Tattva. Okay? Atma Tattva. Because they want the disciple to develop, inclination for serious self-realization. So they call him Atma Tattva. But you never hear any name like Anatma Tattva. No Anatma Tattva. They name you after some powerful, spiritually progressive beings so that you can develop their quality. So no Anatma Tattva in our line. We only have Atma Tattva. So that is the two kinds of intelligence. One is interested in Atma Tattva, the other one is interested in self gratification. So it's Anatma Tattva. It's not interested in Atma Tattva. So that is the difference between the two. So verse 70. Are we in verse 70 or 69?
70.
70, yes. Verse 70. Aporyavanam achala pratistam samudramapa pravisanti yadvas tadvat kama yam pravisanti saven sasantim apnoti na kama kami. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is never being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy self desire. So more of the qualities of one who is an Atma Pragya, one who is a Stita Muni, more qualities of one situated in transcendental consciousness are described. And more of the results, the consequences of being situated in Atma Tattva, in contrast to not being situated in Atma Tattva, are described here. So he's unwavering. This is the quality. He's unwavering. That is the quality. One who is situated in self-realization or on the path of transcendence is unwavering. These are qualities we are expected to develop. These are qualities that are gurus expected. If you develop these qualities, you will see the meaning of Guru's words very clearly, and you will see the purpose of Guru very clearly. And if you function in harmony, you are actually helping your Guru to help mankind. And therefore, the corresponding progress you will make is very, very deep and fundamental. So this is it. He is unwavering. The Guru wants us to be unwavering in our determination. He does not chase after sense gratification. The Guru does not want us to chase after sense gratification. And Krishna next explained his determination. What is his determination? For one who is free from desire for sense gratification and who is fixed in his consciousness What is the determination? Verse 71. Okay, let me read some part of the purport here on the screen. Because of his fullness, a Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come and go. They come to him like the waters or the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities and is not even slightly disturbed by desires of sanctification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man. One who has lost all inclinations for material sanctification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Yes. That is it. Therefore, verse 71. Verse 71. Vihaya vinivartante Vihaya karmaya sarvam Woman's charity nispriya Nirimamo niri ahankara Sasantim adigachati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desire, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. So these are some of the benefits of becoming a Sthita Prajna. You will attain real peace. This is open, it's for everyone. Everyone who is ready to be a Sthita Prajna is not a monopoly. Anyone who wants to be a Sthita Prajna and who accepts the process of Krishna consciousness can immediately attain real peace. It's not a monopoly. It's open for everyone. Okay? It's not a monopoly. It's not a monopoly. He has given up all desires for sense gratification. This is the qualification. You want to attain real peace. Give up all desires for sense gratification. But when we say give up all desires for sense gratification, it's not artificial. You can give them up simply by engaging all your senses in the service of the master of the senses, the Rishikesh. It's positive engagement, replacing lower engagement. This is the formula. Not that you negate, you fold your hand, you go into the forest, you are not doing any activity again. No, you are acting, but your action is predicated on knowledge of the self and knowledge of the relationship of the self and the super self. Therefore, you are acting for your ultimate enlightened self-interest. Okay? So, who lives free from desire? To live free from desire does not mean you are desireless. Because as a soul, you cannot be desireless. But now your desires are nurtured, they are refined. Your desires are channeled towards pleasing the Lord. They are in harmony with the desires of the Lord. You are one in purpose with the Lord. This is the meaning. What is real desirelessness? Real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. Okay, this is what we are talking about. That who has given up all sense of proprietorship. That means you know where you belong, you know what belongs to you. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. You must know that as a devotee, when you become a devotee, that is the first thing you realize. Everything belongs to Krishna, including you. Therefore, you remove that false sense of proprietorship, that concept of I and mine, ahanta and mamata. You remove these two concepts, ahanta and mamata. And it is mine, I am mine, ahanta and mamata. These are the two tracks of the train of false ego. False ego is a train riding on two tracks. And the two tracks are, one is ahanta and the other one is mamata. I am this body. I am everything that is related to this body belongs to me. See my houses, see my cars, see my brothers, see my relatives, see my country. I am mine. These are the two tracks of the train of false ego, ahanta and mamata. So you have to give up this. This is sense of false proprietorship. You are not this body is never yours. All the universal elements that the body is made of, they belong to Krishna. Earth, water, fire, air, it also, in actuality, the body belongs to Krishna. The soul also is part and parcel of Krishna. So it belongs to Krishna. You are never free. You are simply part and parcel. So your happiness is when you function in harmony with the whole. Just as the hand functions in harmony with the whole body, then it becomes happy. The hand is not supposed to separately look for food and squeeze the food that is eating. No, the hand should look for the food. It does not eat the food. It sends it to the stomach. The stomach is Krishna. When Krishna eats, then it distributes the energy, and that energy sustains all the limbs and enliven all the other senses. This is how satisfaction comes to the hand. Not by holding the food and start squeezing it. You have to function as a part of the supreme will, not to try to function apart. Do not be apart. Be a part. This is one. Be a part of the supreme will. Function in harmony, just as the hand functioning in harmony with your body. A cut off hand is useless. Do not be apart. If you try to be apart, you fall into the ocean of self-gratification, and you will get lost, and everything else will become miserable. And you will not be happy now. In the end, you will also not attain a higher destination because you have acted in ignorance. So this is it. Who has given up all sense of false proprietorship? How? By knowing that everything belongs to Krishna. Isavasyami dam sarvam. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyatena bhunjita magrida kasyasvidana. This is the formula. Isavasyami dam sarvam. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyatena bhunjita magrida kasyasvidana. Everything animate and inanimate in this world belongs to Krishna. Therefore, you should act according to your quota. Your quota as an individual soul is to function in harmony with the Supreme Soul. And therefore, to educate people by your own personal example, living a God-centered life, therefore elevate their consciousness, and you liberate them, put them on the path of liberation. This is your quota. If you are doing that, automatically the Lord will sustain you. He will provide all facilities you need, both material and spiritual. This is it. As much as when you give food to the stomach, the hands, all the limbs, all the senses of the body are automatically nourished and enlivened. So this is the formula. Take the formula and please experience it. Sometimes the Prabhupada compared this to in the preface of the Nectar of Devotion, the main switch. When you have a house and you are connected to ECG, there is a main switch that the ECG current is connected to. If you do not turn on that main switch, all the coins and connection points in the house will not work. But when you turn the main switch, everything will work in harmony. So similarly, the main switch is the process of watering the root to the tree of life. Is the process of becoming Krishna conscious. Seeing everything in relationship with Krishna. Seeing everything for Krishna's enjoyment and trying to be part of that. And working in harmony with God's plan. Trying to become an instrument in the plan of God. This is the way of enlightening people. And this is the formula that has given them happiness since time immemorial. The formula was there, the formula is there now, and the formula will continue to be there beyond birth and death. So Maharaj Priyavrata is an example, an excellent example of the person here described. Although he behaved as a pious but worldly king, he was internally renounced and peaceful because his mind was fixed on the Supreme Personality of God. This is the same formula for householders and everyone else. As a householder, you have obligations. You cannot neglect your children and you say you are practicing Krishna consciousness. Krishna will not even receive your service. Because your children are also Krishna's properties. You cannot neglect Krishna's property, or it will be tantamount to a neophyte mentality. Very neophyte mentality. You are trying, you want to serve God, but you don't care for God's things that are related to God. It's a neophyte, immature mentality. So this is it. It is not encouraged. You have to be engaged in your activities that you are internally renounced and peaceful. You do your duty without attachment to the result. Whatever result you get, you try to engage it as much as possible in the service of the Lord. Then you are sustained alongside by the inconceivable mystical potency of the Lord, which sustained you when you were in the womb of your mother. You didn't know how you would survive the womb of your mother. Locked inside the womb of your mother for 9 months. How did you survive? Do you know? You don't know. Was it your arrangement to attach a placenta to the mother's womb so you can feed? Was it your arrangement? It's Krishna's arrangement, the supreme controller's arrangement, the supreme designer's arrangement, the supreme father's arrangement. So you have just a father, you have nothing to fear. All what you need to do is to remain in his presence. Just remain in the presence of such a powerful, potent, all-knowing, Sabagian father. Then you have no problem. No problem. And this is the opportunity accorded us by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So just practice Krishna consciousness. Try to be exemplary devotee of the Lord. And leave the rest for him. It takes care automatically. This was the situation of prayer matter. So householders, you are there. Remain connected, do your duty without attachment. Take care of your children, seeing them also as Krishna's property, Krishna devotees. Take care of the Krishna devotees. You make more advancement than even when you directly take care of Krishna. See? So take care of devotees. Part of Krishna devotees are not separated from Krishna. They are the same with Krishna. So this is the formula. This is the purpose of this verse. Okay? This verse ends Krishna's answer to the question, how does he walk? Krishna includes chapter 2 with a brief summary. And what is that brief summary? That is verse 72. What is the destination of a person who is in Krishna consciousness? He attains the kingdom of God, Brahma Nirvana, Richati. So let us read the verse. It's very sweet. 72. Esa Brahmi stiti pauta nainam prapya vimuhyati Stitwasyam antakale api Brahma Nirvanam Richati. That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. Being so situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Yes. Even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. There's a beautiful purport there. To try to read this later, but for now I can encapsulate the purport for you. Here, Krishna glorifies the positions of the Sita Pragya. There are many topics have been discussed in this chapter. The Vedas were discussed. The modes of material nature has been discussed. Karma Yoga has been discussed. Karma Kanda has been discussed. Jnana Kanda has been discussed. Sankhya has been discussed, Buddhi Yoga has been discussed, Vedanta has been discussed, the Atma has been discussed, detachment has been discussed, Samadhi has been discussed, Sannyasa has been discussed, and Bhakti Yoga has been discussed. That's why this particular chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita is entitled The Summary or the Contents of the Gita Summarized. The content of the Gita summarized. But little of all the major topics in the Gita are touched. Subsequent chapters are going to elaborate on this particular topic that are being touched. And this brings us in connection with the next chapter, which is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga has been discussed, but we are going to elaborate more on it. And in the process, we will see everything clearly, more clearly. Why? Because Krishna wants Arjuna to do his spiritual duty and not to abandon it. We should do our duty and not abandon our duty and pretend to be something other than what we are. Okay? So Srila Prabhupada writes, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has summarized this second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as being the contents of the whole text. In Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But please be reminded, we said that the Karma Yoga here referred to is Bhagavat Arpita Niskama Karma Yoga. It is the yoga whereby you act. You are not attached to the result of your actions. You offer the result of your actions as yoga to Krishna. Krishna takes the yoga, karma, then you take the yoga. So it's a win-win activity. You do the work, but you are not entangled by the results. Krishna himself personally takes the karma, he absorbs it and frees you and gives you only the profits. So that is the kind of karma yoga that has been discussed. And those are the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. They are the first upper cover of the Bhagavad Gita. And at the last cover of the Bhagavad Gita is Jnana Yoga. And this Jnana Yoga is the Jnana Yoga that is flavored or is predicated on the understanding that Vasudeva Savamiti, after many births and deaths, when one has passed through all kinds of practices, it comes to the understanding that Krishna is the supreme personality of God. So with that knowledge, and that I am part and parcel of him, that is the knowledge. You know, Jnana Yoga, knowledge, the yoga of knowledge of our relationship with the supreme, the yoga of Atma Tattva. Then the middle chapters, this yoga of Jnana Yoga only brings you to the doorstep of pure bhakti. In Jnana Yoga, there is some attachment still, but Bhakti Yoga is pure attachment to Krishna, completely free from any tinge, not even 1% of selfish attachment. That is Bhakti Yoga. And therefore, that is the middle, is the king of knowledge in the middle, preserved. And we told you that there are 2 verses to open this golden box. This is a golden box with the first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga as the upper cover, Jnana Yoga as the lower cover. Then the middle 6 chapters are the real content that is being protected by these 2 covers. Then it is locked. The box is locked, but you can unlock this box. And the only process to unlock this box are 2 verses in the Bhagavad Gita. The keys are there in the Bhagavad Gita. One of them, Sarva Dharma Parityaja, Mam Ekam Saranam Vraja, Aham Twam Sarva Paritivo, Moksha Isyami Mahasucha. This is one of the keys. Bhagavad Gita 18, verse 66. Then you have another verse. Bhagavad Gita 1850, is it 54, 54? Man mana bhava man bhaktu, mam yaji, mam namasku, mam evasyasi satyamti, pratijami priyosimi. These are the 2 verses. They are the keys to unlock the book of Bhagavad Gita. So, thank you very much. We say we're reading that in the 2nd chapter, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the content of the complete text. So this is why this particular chapter is entitled The Contents of the Gita Summarized. It is very essential, and therefore it is worthwhile spending time to treat this chapter. You know, in business, there is one principle called 80-20 principle. 80-20 principle. This 80-20 principle is not taught in many universities, but it is revealed by business stalwarts. And that, what is the principle? 80% of your business is done with 20% of your customers. 80% of your business is done with only 20% of your customers. Therefore, it is logical to invest 80% of your time in those 20%. You get it? 80% of your business is done with 20% of your customers. Therefore, it is logical to invest 80% of your time in that 20% of course. So this particular contents of the Gita summarized is encapsulates the whole Bhagavad Gita, and therefore it is worthwhile spending time to analyze it to this conclusion. So we have come to the conclusion. We said that many topics have been discussed in this chapter. The Vedas have been discussed. The modes of material nature have been discussed. Karma Yoga has been discussed. Karma Kanda has been discussed. Jnana Kanda has been discussed. Sankhya has been discussed. Buddhi Yoga has been discussed. Vedanta has been discussed. The Atma has been discussed. Detachment has been discussed. Samadhi has been discussed. Sannyasa has been discussed. And finally, a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga is also given. So thank you very much as we come to the end of this chapter. Are there some questions or commentaries before we go into, we want to treat the first 13 verses of the next chapter.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, there in the text 64, the mentioning attachment and the averses, but how we can control the attachment? Yes. The text 64,
Yes.
the mentioning that the attachment.
Yes.
Yes, but to reduce the attachment is very difficult. So how we can maintain that one?
Once you know, since you have already known that to reduce the attachment is difficult, you're already 50% successful. Already 50%. The rest 50%, you can share it. Any effort you make there, you are going forward, not backward. Once you know that the attachment is very difficult, material attachment. So this is the formula, this is the subject matter of the Karma Yoga.
Yes, because the attachment is a main problem to give the everybody's these problems.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's the
So
main reason.
that's what we are going to discuss in the next chapter now. Thank you for bringing us to the next chapter. That is the subject matter of the next chapter.
Okay.
And actually, here the yoga ladder is technically being established. The yoga ladder. We will see the yoga ladder clearly as we navigate through this particular chapter and subsequent chapters. Yoga ladder. The yoga system is a ladder, starting from Vikama, activities below human activities. Then they are regulated by Kama Kama. Then Kama Kanda activities are regulated by Sakama. Sakama activities are regulated by Jnana Kanda. Jnana Kanda activities are regulated by Niskama Kama Yoga. And you come to Bhakti. We're going to see it. The ladder is there for us. Go, Ranga. Thank you very much for being there for us. Let me try to open chapter 3.
Prabhu, there somebody wanted to ask, I think. Somebody's raised the hand.
Yeah, okay. Aswini Kumara Prabhu. Are you there? What we are seeing, is it picture we are seeing? Oh, Amega, welcome. Back to Amega, you are welcome. Where is Bhakta Lawson? And where is Bhakta Robinson? Where is Chi Mantra? Where is Kamuju? Where is Bhakta Prince? Bhakta Prince is there. Hare Krishna. We want to change all these names from Bhaktas to initiated names. This is our own determination. We don't want to hear Bhakta again. Aswini Kumara Prabhu, are you there?
Prabhu, yes, please. I'm here.
Your hand is raised, so we suppose you have a question to ask.
Yes, thank you. I want to get this clarification.
Yeah.
Your voice is that we should perform activities, but we offer Karma Yoga is saying we should perform activities.
Okay.
But we offer the result.
Okay.
We offer the result to Krishna.
Yes.
And Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga is also saying the same, that we should perform activities. We offer the result to Krishna.
Okay.
So what is the difference between the two?
We are going to come to that.
Hello.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, the percentage of your offering will make the difference. The percentage of the result you're going to offer to Krishna will make the difference. Okay? In one, you'll be expected to offer 100% if possible. And we discuss that 100% also. You see, don't be afraid. That 100% is not just 100% you work and you carry all the salary, go and give it to Krishna. It's after paying your bills. After paying your bills and school fees and other expenses, the remaining you can offer all if you are really on the topmost level. But even if you can't offer all, you're also on a level. You see, some people offer 10%, they offer only 10%. Some people offer 5%, they're also there. Understand? But on the ladder, they're on a lower level, though they're also on the same track. No, they are not convinced enough to offer more than that. But hopefully, eventually, they will arrive there. Okay? Eventually, they will arrive there. So they are all on track. Somebody is offering 5%, somebody is offering 10%, somebody is offering 25%, somebody is offering 100%. So that makes the difference. It depends on where you want to function for now. You are free. The choice is yours. Hare Krishna. Aswini Kumar Prabhu? I'm trying to go back to my home page and share something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one more. There, it can be possible to we can get that the presentation so we can recap some of the things. Sometimes with the network issues and all, we cannot able to hear properly. So we can get there some materials like what you're showing us, the presentation and all.
Yes, actually, by the time you come back here, and by the time I receive some of your course fee, by the time you give me some of your course fee, you will see me releasing the materials.
Sure, no problem.
There are some attachments, I think, attachments to course fee.
Okay.
We are all on track. We have not arrived yet. See, those who have arrived, they are not attached to any fee. The more they suffer to do it, the happier they become. But some of us have not arrived. We are trying to. We are in the picture. See? So we are expecting that by this weekend, some of you should bring your part of your course fee, if not all. There shouldn't be any fear that if this is given to Chaitanya Prema, it is entering into the wrong hand. No. Chaitanya Prema Das we are seeing is the coordinator of this particular program. Not only in Ghana, but in the whole of West Africa. And by that, he is the Minister of Education, newly appointed Minister of Education. This Chaitanya Prema you are seeing. So don't have any doubt that if you pay part of your course fee, it will be lost. It will not be lost. The coordinator will take it and spend it for the same purpose. It's necessary now. It's necessary so that I can be proficient in my preparations and arrangements and meeting up with things, making research and also collecting results. I am going to be here for throughout the program. I'm coordinating, that means in every unit, I am there. I set the exams and I mark them also. And in the end, I collect the results and send it to the higher authorities for certification. So it makes it easier for me when you pay your part of your course fee quickly. But when you hold it up, for some reasons best known to you, for a very long time, you choke the coordinator up, and the coordinator is speaking out that you cannot just become a yogi and just keep quiet and suffer in silence and take it for advancement. You want to act. So you need to be facilitated for action. So we use the opportunity to thank those of you who have been supporting for the data. And I will not mention their name because they don't want their names to be mentioned. But there are two persons who have been supporting me for data, and may the Paramparam continue to empower them, invigorate them, and give them more strength to continue to do. And by that, we are inviting others to also come on board so that it will not be too heavy on few people. Meanwhile, start making your plan to pay part of your course fee, if not all. I'm doing a Bhaktivedanta course with Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education in Vrindavan. That we have lectures every day. Even as I'm here now, once it's 9:30, I have to appear in a class. Hey, we have already gone beyond 9:30. That means I'm already late for that class without knowing. And I was thinking of starting chapter 3 here. So I think I will end here so that we can take time to address chapter 3 in 2 classes. Tomorrow and next Saturday we'll finish chapter 3. Surely, because it contains only 43 verses. 43 verses. So we conclude that one in the upper Saturday, next Saturday. Meanwhile, as I'm coordinating this, I'm also supposed to prepare exams for the Bhakti Bible students. Bhakti Bible students are writing their first exams for Unit 1. As we close this class, I enter into the other class. Then from there, I go and I have to prepare the result, the exams for them, so that tomorrow they do their exams. So if you are holding your own side like this, you are holding me down. I have a network of activities connected to me. So do your part. Do your part. You will not pay your school fees twice. You will pay it only once, I assure you. In Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education, we are paying $200. And right from the beginning, you have to pay. Otherwise, they don't consider you a student. That means they remove you from the group. And they'll be sending information to only those who are paid. So I've already paid for that. So why is it that on $100 here, you are reluctant to pay for how long? So we are appealing to you once again. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for bringing something this weekend, some of you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Are you still in Nigeria?
No, I'm in Ghana here now.
Okay.
I came back since Tuesday last week.
Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All glorious. We are very happy to see you. And you are very encouraging. I'm saying those who are consistent. I'm taking note of that. Those who are attending classes consistently. Even if you don't pass your exams very well, if you are consistent in your class, the mark I will give you for attendance is going to boost you. Yes, it's going to boost you very well. You will pass your exams, no matter what. But those who are not attending classes, if they come and score 100%, I will give them half, just half of the mark. That is what I will give to them, because if you cannot avoid attending classes, and you just go and read and come and write exams because the questions are simple. Those who are attending classes will score more than all those who are not attending classes regularly. Definitely. I will make sure that it happens like that, because attendance is where the beginning of determination is. You are determined, you respect the program, therefore you are sacrificing time, you are respecting those others who are there. That is the meaning. That is what we want. Whatever we are learning how to transform into values. You have to transform into values and respect for the whole culture. So this is a culture of discipline. So it is a sign of gross indiscipline when you are not attending classes. You have to become half of the class. You go next week, you don't attend. The other week, you don't attend, and you come and you don't want to be talked to at the same time. This is not done. It's disrespect. You are disrespecting everybody who is attending regularly, and you don't want them to talk about it. That is cheating. So this is not accepted. So I thank all of you very much who are consistent. I know those of you who are consistent. Thank you very much. And may Guru and Krishna and the whole Parampara continue to bless you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. And come Father, Charles, AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So see you tomorrow. Those who are here, you should tell those who are not here to please come on board for classes. Otherwise, we get to a time when we take some decision that may look drastic. We may encourage them to wait until when they are really ready to do the course, then they come on board. Or we can classify them as just listeners. Anytime they come, it doesn't matter. But to be satisfied as somebody who has passed through the discipline, no, I will not do that. So thank you very much for being exemplary. May Guru and Krishna continue to bless you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I will join Bhakti Damodara class now. I'm back late. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.